Chapter 610. What kind of existence is this? There's actually such an expert behind Lu Ming? At this moment, they couldn't help but re-evaluate Lu Ming. This youth who came from a remote village in the eastern part of Tianxian domain wasn't as simple as they thought. His battle strength was unrivaled, and he even defeated a Saint Star expert. Now, there was an unknown expert behind him. How could such a background be simple? Sir, who are you? I'm the Heavenly Divine Palace's main palace, a direct descendant of the Shangguan clan. This is my Shangguan clan's matter. I hope you won't meddle in it. Shangguan Wuchen stared at the blurry figure above Lu Ming's head. However, that voice only stood there motionlessly and did not say anything. Second brother, attack. Continue attacking. This is just a figure with limited energy. Today, this little bastard must die. No matter who's behind him, we're Shangguan clan's disciples. How dare he touch us? Shangguan Wuling screamed. Sir, since you're determined to protect this kid, then you'll have to be prepared to go against my Shangguan clan, Shangguan Wuchen said again. Ha ha ha, go against your Shangguan clan? So what? Don't try to scare me with your bullshit Shangguan clan. At this moment, a loud laugh suddenly came from the sky. Everyone was shocked. Since when was there someone in the sky? Especially Shangguan Wuchen, Sheng Kang, and Mu Tian, the 3C of Soul Realm experts. Their faces changed drastically. They couldn't even sense a trace of aura from a person who appeared above them. Everyone raised their heads and looked at the sky. Up in the sky, a figure was seated in the void, holding a gourd and gulping down wine. Senior Yang. Lu Ming shouted in joy. Sir, who are you? Although your cultivation is high and I admit that I'm no match for you, if you really want to offend my Shangguan clan for this kid, I'm afraid you'll bring unnecessary trouble to yourself. Shangguan Wuchen continued. His tone was still full of threats. However, he didn't notice that Sheng Kang, Mu Tian, Mu Yi, Mu Zheng, and the other elders of Tianxian domain were stunned. They looked at the figure in the sky with a complicated expression. Shangguan, let's forget about today's matter. At that moment, Sheng Kang spoke to Shangguan Wuchen. What? Shangguan Wuchen was stunned. Sheng Kang, what did you say? Today, the one who was seriously injured and humiliated is your own son. You actually want to give up? Are you even a man? Shangguan Wuling glared at Sheng Kang and shouted. All right, I'm doing this for your own good, Sheng Tsang said. Who is he? Asked Shangguan Wuchen. He felt that Sheng Kang should know him. He is Yang Kuangtu, Sheng Kang said with mixed feelings. He didn't lower his voice, so everyone could hear him. Silence. The scene suddenly quieted down. All eyes were fixed on the unruly figure in the sky. Yang Kuangtu. He was a legend in the Tianxian region, or even in the Eastern Wasteland. In the Tianxian region, there was no one who did not know about the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. He was a peerless genius who came out of the Tianxian region 100 years ago. Many elders had watched him grow, but most of them had never seen Yang Kuangtu before. At this moment, they opened their eyes wide and looked at the legendary figure. Slowly, many people became excited. They discussed excitedly and looked at the figure in the sky. Yang Kuangtu? Shangguan Wuchen's eyes were also filled with shock. Then, he recalled what he had just said and his face turned pale. What he had said might be useful to others, but it was useless to Yang Kuangtu. Who was Yang Kuangtu? What was his cultivation? Yang Kuangtu was an extremely powerful and lawless figure. Even the old ancestor of the Shangguan clan had to tremble with fear in front of Yang Kuangtu. With Shangguan Wuchen's status, it was impossible for him to meet Yang Kuangtu in the past. He also thought of some rumors about Yang Kuangtu. It was said that Yang Kuangtu was a lawless person. Once, when a super family offended Yang Kuangtu went straight to the super family and almost destroyed it. In the end, Martial Emperor Yi did not punish him. That super family's strength was even stronger than the Shangguan clan. The more he thought about it, the paler his face became. He could not help but break out in cold sweat. Lord Yang, what brings you here? Mu Tian flew up to the sky and cupped his fists. Mu Tian's seniority was higher than Yang Kuangtu's. When Yang Guangtu was in the Tianqian region, he was already the palace master of the Tianqian palace. However, things were different now. Yang Guangtu's status in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace was much higher than his. When he saw Yang Guangtu, he had to call him Lord. Lord Yang, you haven't returned to the Tianqian region for decades, right? Just in time, I'll ask someone to prepare a banquet to welcome you. Sheng Kang flew up to the sky and said with a smile. Hee hee. Yang Guangtu drank 2 more mouthfuls of wine and said, Sheng Kang, don't try to get close to me. Are we close? Sheng Kang's face stiffened and he stood there awkwardly. When Yang Guangtu was in the Tianqian region, he and the Sheng family could be said to be mortal enemies. They were even fiercer than Lu Ming was now. Many people of the same generation as Yang Guangtu in the Sheng family had been beaten up by him and many of them had died in his hands. Back then, the Sheng family had regarded Yang Guangtu as a must-kill target. They had even forced Yang Guangtu to leave the Tianqian region and go to other regions to gain experience. Later on, he had risen rapidly. Only then did the Sheng family give up on him. Now, Yang Guangtu was lucky that he did not kill them. Why would he care about them? Lord Yang, I didn't know it was you just now. Please forgive me. Shangguan Wuchen also flew up to the sky and said with fear and trepidation. You didn't know it was me? Hee hee, your Shangguan clan is truly arrogant. You want to bully the weak. Are you bullying my little brother Lu Ming because he has no background and no backing? If I wasn't prepared, he would have been killed by you. Yang Guangtu sneered. No, I was just testing little brother Lu's strength. Shangguan Wuchen broke out in cold sweat. Second brother, what are you doing? We are the disciples of the Shangguan clan. Why should we be afraid of him? We must kill that little bastard today. Let's see what he dares to do to us. Shangguan Wuling screamed again. Little sister, shut up. Shangguan Wuchen was shocked and scolded. Shangguan Wuling had married into the Tianqian region and stayed there all year round. Although she had heard of Yang Guangtu's reputation, she did not know how terrifying Yang Guangtu was. She had never heard of Yang Guangtu's battle achievements. Shangguan Wuchen was really afraid that Shangguan Wuling would anger Yang Guangtu. Second brother, why are you so timid? Our Shangguan clan is not afraid of anyone. Kill that little bastard. I must skin him alive and make him regret hurting Xingchen. Shangguan Wu Ling looked like a crazy hag because she was so protective of her son. What a vicious woman. Chapter 611. Slap. A crisp sound was heard. Shangguan Wu Ling screamed as her body flew far away. One side of her face was swollen. Ah! How dare you hit me, bastard! Trash! I'm going to tell my father that I'm going to kill you and your whole family. Shangguan Wu Ling screamed hysterically. Her hair was disheveled and she looked like a ghost. Whoosh! Yang Guangtu's figure suddenly appeared in front of Shangguan Wu Ling. His eyes were cold and a terrifying murderous aura burst out. The murderous aura was unbelievably terrifying. As soon as the murderous aura was released, everyone felt like they were in Azura hell. There were mountains of corpses and seas of blood everywhere. It was cold. It was so cold that it penetrated into their bones and souls. Everyone's face turned pale. Shangguan Wu Ling, who was in the middle of the murderous aura, was stunned. Then, her face was filled with fear and her body trembled violently. You're just a bitch. Killing you will only dirty my hands, Yang Guangtu said indifferently. Then, he looked at the sky and said, I won't interfere in the battle between the young ones. However, if you seniors want to bully the weak, then I don't mind bullying the weak. Bullying the weak? Overbearing and arrogant. If someone else said that, they would definitely be despised. However, it was reasonable for Yang Guangtu to say that. This was strength. Yang Guangtu had such strength. Today's battle is fair and Lu Ming is the winner. Therefore, the Sheng family can get lost. The last word get lost was like a thunderclap. The sky rumbled and everyone's eardrums hurt. Although Sheng Kang, Shangguan Wuchen, and the others were unwilling, they did not dare to say anything. They hurriedly brought the dazed Shangguan Wu Ling and the severely injured Sheng Xingchen and the others away in a sorry state. In an instant, The people of the Sheng family had all left. Senior Yang, thank you for saving me. Lu Ming stepped forward and cupped his fists to express his gratitude. Haha, you don't have to be so polite with me. Also, don't call me senior. I'm only 100 years old. I'm not that old. Call me big brother. Yang Guangtu laughed. Big brother Yang, Lu Ming said. In fact, he and Yang Guangtu were indeed of the same generation. Yang Guangtu waved his hand and the blurry figure above Lu Ming disappeared. He looked at Lu Ming and then at Mulins. Haha, good boy. I was wondering why you were in such a hurry. It turns out that you're here to snatch a beauty. Good, a real man should do this. Yang Guangtu patted Lu Ming on the shoulder. Mulins. Greet Senior Yang. Mulins walked towards Yang Guangtu. Yang. Let's do it today. Let's do it. You're two and I. Let's. Of the day the good. That's right. Today was supposed to be Lan and Sheng Xing's wedding, but you snatched it from us halfway. I'll leave Lan to you then. Mu Tian also walked over. Father, Senior Yang. Mulins shouted. A blush flashed across her beautiful face. Her beauty was unparalleled. Marry Senior Sister Mulins? Lu Ming was stunned. The reason why he challenged Sheng Xinchen was that Mulins said that she didn't want to marry Sheng Xinchen. He just wanted to help Mulins. He never wanted to marry Mulins. Indeed, although Mulins was beautiful, he never wanted to marry her. What? Lu Ming, you don't want to marry her? Seeing Lu Ming's expression, Mu Tian's face darkened. Lu Ming was tongue-tied. At this moment, two figures involuntarily appeared in his mind. Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon. He knew very well that Autumn Moon was interested in him. And Xian Yanqing. How was she now? She disappeared for so long. At this moment, for some reason, Xian Yanqing's figure became exceptionally clear in his mind. Lu Ming, what is the meaning of this? Mu Tian shouted coldly. His face was extremely gloomy. Today, Lu Ming snatched the bride and challenged Sheng Xinchen. This matter would soon spread throughout the Tianxian domain. In the end, Lu Ming refused to marry Mulins. At that time, how would others look at Mulins? How would they look at him? Mulins's eyes flashed. She seemed to have thought of something. Her eyes dimmed and she said softly, Father, don't misunderstand. I don't want to marry Sheng Xinchen. That's why I asked Lu Ming for help. There's no other meaning. Moreover, Lu Ming is still young. He should focus on martial arts. Lan Mu Tian looked at Mulins with a complicated expression. Senior Sister Mulins, I'm sorry. Lu Ming said apologetically. It wasn't that Mulins wasn't beautiful enough. It wasn't that Mulins wasn't good enough. To be honest, which man wouldn't be tempted by a woman like Mulins? It would be a lie to say that Lu Ming wasn't tempted. However, he really didn't want to marry her. Moreover, there were two people in his heart. Why are you apologizing? I should thank you today. From now on, I'm free. Mu Lan smiled sweetly. Her smile was brilliant and charming like a blooming flower. Her beauty was unparalleled. Father, Senior Yang, I'm a little tired. I'll go back and rest first. After saying that, Mulins turned and strode away. The moment she turned, Lu Ming saw the sadness in Mulins's eyes. Sigh. Lu Ming sighed. Yang Guangtu rolled his eyes and thought, it seems that little brother Lu is also a romantic person. He has someone else in his heart. Thinking of this, Yang Guangtu naturally didn't say a word. It was hard for outsiders to say anything about this kind of thing. Humph. Mu Tian looked coldly at Lu Ming and snorted. Then, he said to Yang Guangtu, Lord Yang, it's been a long time since you returned to Tianxian domain. Why don't we go and have a drink? Well, it's time to have a good drink. Old man Mu, I remember that you have some good wine in your private collection. I've always wanted to drink it but couldn't. It's time to take it out. Yang Guangtu laughed. Okay, this time, I'll definitely take it out. Mu Tian said. Brother Lu, do you want to have a drink together? This old man's private collection is really good. Yang Guangtu looked at Lu Ming. I'd better not go. Lu Ming shook his head. For some reason, He felt a little guilty and didn't know how to face Mu Tian. Okay, then I'll leave first. As if seeing through Lu Ming's thoughts, Yang Guangtu didn't say much and left with Mu Tian. At the scene, there was an uproar of excited discussion. What happened today was really full of twists and turns. It was beyond everyone's expectations. Lu Ming, who everyone thought was hiding and didn't dare to fight, appeared at the crucial moment. Moreover, he displayed terrifying strength and actually defeated the peerless genius Shengxing. This was really terrifying. If Lu Ming broke through to the Peak King realm, how strong would his battle strength be? And just as Lu Ming won, Shangguan Wuchen made a move to kill Lu Ming. They never thought that the person standing behind Lu Ming was actually a legendary figure like Yang Guangtu. In the end, the Sheng family was completely defeated and retreated in a sorry state. Today's matter would soon spread throughout Tianxian domain. Chapter 612. The crowd slowly dispersed. Lu Ming, looks like you've hurt someone's heart. Mu Shuyuan walked over in his white robe. Brother Mu, don't make fun of me. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Haha, Lu Ming, you don't have to think too much. Just like what Mulin said, you're still young. You should focus on martial arts. I'm really looking forward to seeing how far you can go in the future. Mu Shuyuan sighed. When he first met Lu Ming hadn't become a challenger yet. He was still so young and weak and needed his guidance. But now, Lu Ming had left him in the dust. How long had it been? It was too fast. Maybe he's another Yang Guangtu. Mu Shuyuan sighed. Brother Mu, I'm going back to treat my injuries. Lu Ming cupped his fists and said. All right, you should go back now. Mu Shuyuan said. Lu Ming nodded and turned to leave. Lu Ming, you're such a fool. How could you reject such a beautiful lady? What a waste. It's such a pity. Dandan shouted and sighed on the way back. Shut up, you perverted turtle. Lu Ming picked up Dandan and stuffed it into the Temple of Paragon. He didn't go to the 4th zone. Instead, he rented a house in the 1st zone. Sitting cross-legged in the room, Lu Ming took out a few healing pills and swallowed them. Then, he activated the true dragon battle art to heal his injuries. He had taken Shangguan Wuchen's attack head-on and was severely injured. The bones in his arm were broken and his muscles were torn in many places. However, Lu Ming's body was extremely strong and his vitality was incomparably strong. His body had been healing automatically when he was talking. Now, with the help of the pills, he recovered even faster. In the 4th zone, Mulins and Mu Shuyuan stood side by side in a pavilion and looked into the distance. Are you angry with him? Mu Shuyuan asked. No. Mulins said calmly, feelings can't be forced. Lu Ming is indeed still young. He should prioritize martial arts. Actually, you should know that there is someone else in his heart. Mu Shuyuan sighed. Mulins's eyes flashed, then she smiled sweetly and said, I know, of course I know. But do you think I will lose? I've decided. I'm going to fight for it. Compete. Mu Shuyuan stared blankly for a moment, then smiled and said, haha, now that's the Mulins I know. Speaking of which, Lu Ming is really outstanding. He can't be easily missed. If I were a woman, I would also fight for him. However, the gap between me and him is getting bigger and bigger. Therefore, I've decided to go to that place to cultivate. I can't be left behind by him too much. Mulins gazed into the distance. Have you finally decided to go there to cultivate? Mu Shuyuan's eyes lit up. That's right. Father arranged for me to go, but I didn't want to listen to him, so I didn't go. Now, it's time to go. Mulins sighed. It's right for you to go there to cultivate. Otherwise, with your physique, it would be a waste. It's not too late to go now. Mu Shuyuan said. Millimeter. Half a day later, Lu Ming's injuries had already healed. His 7th grade body displayed a super strong self-healing ability. The Sea of Soul Realm is indeed powerful. I wonder what level of Sea of Soul Realm Shangguan Wuchen is at, and how much power did he use? Lu Ming pondered in his heart. Lu Ming estimated that Shangguan Wuchen shouldn't be too high in the Sea of Soul Realm. Otherwise, even a casual palm was not something he could block. When I break through to the Peak King level, I wonder if I can fight with a Sea of Soul Realm expert. Lu Ming was looking forward to it. However, what he needed to do now was to forge a spiritual spear. That high-grade 5th-grade Wind Thunder spear had cracked after receiving a palm from Shangguan Wuchen during the battle with the Saint Star. With Lu Ming's current explosive power, a 5th-grade spiritual weapon was not very useful. Immediately, Lu Ming got up and walked toward Old Huang's residence. "Nestle, Lu Ming, you bastard, don't stuff me into that damn place." Danden's voice suddenly sounded. It had appeared on Lu Ming's shoulder again, panting. "Nestle." Lu Ming was shocked. This guy could actually run out of the Temple of Paragon by itself. "Chimph, don't you know who I am? I'm the leader of the top 10 battle beasts. I've existed for countless years, and my inscription skills have already reached a level that can shock the heavens and make ghosts cry. How can a mere Temple of Paragon trap me? Aya, I'm so tired." Danden boasted shamelessly while lying on Lu Ming's shoulder with its shell down and panting. "Keep bragging. A person who often fails to carve an inscription, no, a tortoise. How can you say that your inscription skills can shock the heavens and make ghosts cry?" Lu Ming said with disdain. "Kid, what do you know? If I wasn't injured." A man and a tortoise bickered, and soon, they arrived at Old Huang's residence. Lu Ming walked in directly. Old Huang, Junior Lu Ming is here to visit." Lu Ming said loudly. Clang, clang. In one of the rooms, there was a clattering sound. Then, an old man with messy hair rushed out of the room. "Haha, Lu Ming, you're finally back. I thought you were dead. How was it? Did you bring back the 1,000 refined blood gold?" Old Huang grinned and looked at Lu Ming. "I brought it back." Lu Ming waved his hand and the 1,000 refined blood gold appeared in his hand. "Millimeter, this is enough. Sigh, it's a pity for Xian Long." Old Huang sighed. It was obvious that Old Huang had received the news of the blacksmith sect's destruction. Lu Ming sighed inwardly, but he didn't say anything. "All right, there's no need to think too much about other things. During this time, I've been studying the inscriptions on the broken spear you gave me. I've learned a lot. I've already extracted the infinite black gold from the broken spear. I can start refining it now, but it will take 3 days. 3 days later, come and get it." Old Huang said. "All right, I'll have to trouble you then." Lu Ming handed the 1,000 refined blood gold to Old Huang. "All right, go ahead." Old Huang took the 1,000 refined blood gold and rushed into the room. Lu Ming smiled. This Old Huang was truly an eccentric. This old man is just an ordinary inscriber. He's not even a true inscriber, so he probably can't refine any good spiritual weapons. Danden muttered. Lu Ming was speechless. This guy really knew how to brag. Elder Huang was the top inscription master in the Tianqian region. Moreover, how could it be so easy to find a true inscriber? It was too difficult to become a true inscriber, and the requirements were too high. Lu Ming strolled through the streets. Soon, he arrived at the courtyard that Mulins had given him half a year ago. Sitting cross-legged in the room, Lu Ming quietly comprehended the concept of lightning. As long as he broke through to the first level of perfection, he would be able to easily cultivate the other 2 concepts to the first level. With enough resources, Lu Ming would be able to break through to the peak stage king realm. Chapter 613. Brother Yang, are you leaving? Yang Kuangtu came to bid farewell to Lu Ming. Yang Kuangtu nodded and said, "I have seen what I should see. I will leave soon." After pondering for a while, Yang Kuangtu looked at Lu Ming with anticipation in his eyes and said, "I will wait for you at the main palace for the Battle of Providence." Battle of Providence? Lu Ming raised his eyebrows. "Why? You don't know about the Battle of Providence?" Yang Kuangtu asked. "I have heard of it, but I don't know much about it," Lu Ming said. He had heard about it from Fei Xue before. Lu Ming, the Battle of Providence is very important. All the geniuses in the Eastern Barren Territory will participate, including the monster race. Not only can you help your force to fight for endless providence, but you can also help yourself to fight for great providence. With your talent, you might be able to stand out in the Battle of Providence. Back then, I also participated in the Battle of Providence to achieve what I have today. Yang Guangtu explained. You can fight for Providence. Lu Ming was a little shocked. Providence, isn't it just like luck? It's innate. It's mysterious. How can you fight for it? Of course. Yang Guangtu nodded and said, there is a saying, man can conquer nature. Luck also depends on the man. Therefore, Providence can also be fought for. Talent, hard work, resources, and perseverance are very important for a martial artist. However, Providence is also very important. Only those with great luck can become peak experts. Your luck is not weak, but if you don't participate in the battle of luck, you will be pulled apart by the other geniuses. From then on, you will be reduced to a foil, unable to become the bright star of this era. In the future, it will be difficult for you to become a peak expert of the continent. Therefore, this time, all the geniuses in the Eastern Barren Territory will participate. No one will miss it. The Battle of Providence. Lu Ming was looking forward to it, but he was a little hesitant. Because the Battle of Providence required him to go to the headquarters of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. That would be too close to Martial Emperor Die. Would the 9 Dragons bloodline be sensed? Also, if he represented the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace in the Battle of Providence, it would be equivalent to helping the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace fight for Great Providence. Luck was also extremely important to a large faction. If a faction was lucky enough, they would be able to recruit even more geniuses as disciples. The next generation of experts would be endless, and their strength would also become stronger and stronger. Lu Ming was going to go against the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace sooner or later. He didn't want to help the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace increase their luck. Lu Ming, there are still 2 years before the Battle of Providence. In these 2 years, you should improve your strength as soon as possible. I'll be waiting for you in the Central Palace. As soon as Yang Guangtu finished speaking, his figure flickered and disappeared in an instant. He was elusive. The War of Providence. As Lu Ming repeated this sentence, there was a thoughtful look in his eyes. Participate, I will definitely participate. Retreating is not my martial path. I don't have much time left. Only by having an intense collision with the geniuses of the world can my cultivation and martial path advance bravely. Only then can my cultivation improve even faster. If I retreat and hide in a place to cultivate, my martial path will improve very slowly. When the 10 years are up, I will still have to face Martial Monarch Die. I might as well give it a try. After a while, Lu Ming's eyes emitted a strong battle intent and a firm will. He decided to participate in the Battle of Providence. Although he had a lot of resources now, such as a pile of profound crystals, his cultivation would improve very quickly. That was only for Martial Kings. After breaking through Martial Kings and reaching the Spirit Sea realm, the resources he would need would be even more terrifying. The resources he had were not enough. The higher his cultivation, the harder it would be to improve his cultivation. The resources he would need would be even more terrifying. He wasn't going to be blinded by this little achievement in front of him. After making up his mind, Lu Ming no longer felt pressured. He only felt an indomitable sharpness. Then, he continued to cultivate. One day later, in a hall of the Sheng clan, Sheng Kang, Sheng Xingchen, Shangguan Wuchen, and Shangguan Wuling Saturday. After 2 days of cultivation, Sheng Xingchen's injuries were much better. He was almost fully recovered. Damn it, that little bastard deserves to die, and that Yang Guangtu deserves to die too. Shangguan Wuling screamed with murderous intent. She was slapped by Yang Guangtu in public, which almost drove her crazy. Her murderous intent was extremely strong. Little sister, Yang Guangtu is not someone we can provoke. Even the old ancestor is no match for him. It's better not to say such things. Shangguan Wuchen said beside her. Second brother, are we just going to let it go like this? Shangguan Wuling said. Of course not. We can't deal with Yang Guangtu, but we can't let that little bastard Lu Ming go. Shangguan Wuchen's eyes flickered with murderous intent. Yes, it's all that little bastard's fault. It's all his fault. If it weren't for him, things wouldn't have turned out like this. Shangguan Wuling was filled with murderous intent. Since she couldn't deal with Yang Guangtu, she could only vent all her anger on Lu Ming. There are only 2 years left until the Battle of Providence. At that time, there will be plenty of opportunities to kill that little bastard. Shangguan Wuchen said coldly, then looked at Sheng Xing and said, Xing Xing, come with me to the main palace to cultivate. It's best that you take revenge by cutting off Lu Ming's head. I will cut off his head myself. Sheng Xing's eyes were extremely cold as he clenched his fists. Let's go to the main palace together. Anyway, there are only 2 years left until the Battle of Providence. At that time, we will definitely go. Sheng Kang said. Okay, then let's go to the main palace together. Shangguan Wuchen nodded. In the blink of an eye, the 3-day deadline with Elder Huang had arrived. Lu Ming left the courtyard and went to Elder Huang's residence. Elder Huang. Walking into the courtyard, Lu Ming called out softly. Whoosh. A figure appeared in front of Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, you're here. The spear you wanted has been refined. Take a look. Elder Huang took out a spear and threw it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming reached out and caught it. It's so heavy. When Lu Ming caught it, he felt that it was incomparably heavy. It weighed more than 1,000,000 pounds. Of course, with Lu Ming's current strength, there was no pressure to use it. Lu Ming looked at it carefully. The blood-red spearhead was made of indestructible steel. It was well-defined and gave off an indestructible feeling. The body of the spear was dark red, mainly made of 1,000 refined blood gold. There were some strange patterns engraved on it. There were also some black dots scattered all over the spear. Lu Ming took a liking to her at first glance. Buzz. Lu Ming injected his true yuan and waved it slightly. The spear vibrated, causing a wave of air. Lu Ming, the tip of the spear is forged from indestructible steel. It is sturdy and indestructible. As for the body of the spear, it is mainly made of 1,000 refined blood gold and contains infinite black gold. In the future, as long as you have precious metals, you can refine them and this long spear will continue to evolve and upgrade to a higher level spirit weapon. Chapter 614. Many thanks, Elder Huang. Lu Ming was already very satisfied. He kept his spear and expressed his gratitude to Elder Huang. Go. I've benefited a lot from studying your broken spear this time. I'm going to enter seclusion and comprehend it well. Elder Huang waved his hand. Lu Ming nodded and bowed. He then left and returned to his courtyard. With a move of his hand, a dark red spear appeared. Lu Ming began to brandish it. The spear was like a dragon, dancing in the air. The entire sky was filled with resplendent spear light. After a while, Lu Ming kept his spear and stood there. It's indeed a good spear. The circulation of true origin energy is extremely smooth. Moreover, I can erupt with true origin energy as much as I want. It's very helpful for me to unleash my strength. Lu Ming was very satisfied. With this spear, Lu Ming's battle prowess had increased again. Let's give this spear a name. What should I call it? Since it's based on the infinite black gold and can evolve infinitely, I'll call it the Infinite Spear. No, the Infinite Dragon Spear. Yes, haha, this name sounds good. Lu Ming muttered. He looked at the spear in his hand and grinned. So fucking cliché. Dandan said in disdain. Hey, are you itching for a beating? How is this cliché? The Infinite Dragon Spear is so domineering. Lu Ming brandished the spear in his hand. It's just an upper-grade level 6 spirit weapon. Ming has just passed the refinement. What's there to be happy about? I've already said that the old man's skills are bad. The materials used were good, but they were ruined by him. If it was me, TSK, hey, why are you looking at me like that? I'm a guy, and my hobbies are normal. I don't have any bad hobbies. Dandan began to boast shamelessly again. As it spoke, it saw Lu Ming looking at it with a burning gaze. It was so scared that its head immediately shrank back into its shell, leaving only its mouth open to mutter. Lu Ming carefully sized up Dandan. His eyes turned and he said, Dandan, you always say that you're a peerless expert, the head of the 10 strongest beasts. Since you're so powerful, teach me some peerless martial arts. For example, divine level martial arts. How about giving me 8 or 10 books? So you're here for this matter. Dandan's head popped out of the tortoise shell again. It stood upright on Lu Ming's shoulder and placed its 2 claws on the tortoise shell. It had the demeanor of a peerless expert. Is there really one? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. His heart was pounding. If Dandan really had divine level martial arts, not to mention 8 or 10 books, even 1 or 2 books would be enough to make him rich. Now, Lu Ming felt that his offensive martial arts were a little too simple. Although the 9 Dragons' Heaven Stomping Steps was powerful, it was difficult to cultivate. In battle, it belonged to the category of explosive martial arts. It lacked some changes. If the opponent was prepared early, they could dodge it. The same was true for the 3 unique skills of the Dragon God. They belonged to the category of explosive martial arts. They were extremely powerful and could kill with 1 blow. However, they lacked changes. If the other party could block his attack, Lu Ming would have fewer tricks up his sleeves. This was also what he had felt during the 2 battles with Qin Qingshan and the Sacred Star. Lu Ming needed to cultivate some other martial arts to assist him. After all, only 1 or 2 martial arts were too few. If Dandan could give him a few, it would be perfect. No. Dandan opened its mouth. 2 short words extinguished the fire in Lu Ming's heart. Nestling, if you don't have it, why are you so cocky? You liar. You only know how to brag. Lu Ming was unhappy and looked at Dandan with disdain. Hey, kid, what's with your expression? I can't remember because I'm injured. Otherwise, not to mention 8 or 10 divine level martial arts, I can even take out 100 books. Me. Dandan said unhappily. However, Lu Ming's disdain grew thicker. He obviously did not believe Dandan's words. How could Lu Ming believe it? 100 divine level martial arts? Did he think they were cabbages that could be found by the roadside? You're infuriating me to death. Brat, let me tell you, although I can't remember the martial skills, I still remember the inscription Dao very clearly. I have a peerless inscription Dao here, as well as a top-notch cultivation method for cultivating spirit flames. Do you want me to teach you the inscription Dao? I want you to be convinced. Dandan was so angry that its eyes were wide open and its tortoise shell was moving up and down. Path of inscription? Lu Ming's eyes flickered a little. It took a lot of thought and energy to cultivate martial arts. Wouldn't it take even more energy to cultivate the path of inscription? Lu Ming was a little hesitant. Moreover, the path of inscription was only auxiliary. It did not increase one's combat strength by much. Hey, kid, do you think that the path of inscription can't increase one's combat strength by much? You're really inexperienced. Let me tell you, none of the inscription masters you've seen are qualified. They all cultivate casually and are only auxiliary martial arts. None of them are true inscription masters. If you become a true inscription master, once you reach the 5th level, your combat strength will be terrifying. Martial artists of the same level won't be able to withstand a single blow. In the ancient times, the path of inscription was prosperous. It was the main path of cultivation and even suppressed martial arts. To true inscription masters, challenging those of a higher level is a common thing. Dandan glared and lectured. Are true inscription masters that strong? Lu Ming was skeptical. Nonsense, of course. True inscription masters can inscribe auxiliary inscriptions, combat inscriptions, explosive inscriptions, divine weapon inscriptions, and so on. They can even inscribe a peerless killing formation in an instant and kill the enemy invisibly. It's extremely powerful and mysterious. It's beyond your imagination. What do you think? Do you want to learn it? I have a top-notch cultivation method for the spirit flame here. If this cultivation method were to be made known to the public, it would definitely lead to an earth-shattering outcome. Not to mention martial emperors, even stronger existences would fight for it. Dandan said proudly. Okay, how do I learn it? Hearing Dandan's words, Lu Ming was also tempted. Give me some jade talismans first. You don't have any foundation in the path of inscription. I'll inscribe some basic things, the spirit fire cultivation method, and the method to ignite the spirit fire. I'll show you first so that you'll have an idea. Dandan said seriously, which was rare for him. Lu-Ming nodded. With a wave of his hand, he took out a dozen sparkling jade talismans and threw them to Dandan. Dandan opened his mouth and the jade talismans all flew into Dandan's mouth and disappeared. Dandan's mouth was like a bottomless pit. Lu-Ming saw that he swallowed everything into his mouth and took it out from his mouth. Okay, I'm going to inscribe. You can cultivate in peace. Wait for me for a few days. Dandan jumped into a room and disappeared. Lu-Ming continued his cultivation. 5 days later, Dandan appeared and climbed onto Lu-Ming's shoulder. He threw a dozen jade talismans to Lu-Ming and said, "Everything is inside. Take a look at it yourself." Ouch, I'm so tired. Hurry up, since I'm so diligent, give me a few stalks of elixirs. Lu-Ming was speechless. He casually took out a few stalks of 5th grade elixirs and threw them to Dandan to send him away. He then went into the room and looked at the jade talismans. He placed the jade talismans on his forehead and understood the contents of the jade talismans. The jade talismans contained some basic knowledge about the path of inscription, which was extremely complicated. Lu-Ming closed his eyes and slowly digested the information. Chapter 6:15. It turns out that the inscription Tao is so complicated and mysterious. Its history is so ancient that it's even more ancient than the martial Tao. Lu-Ming muttered in a low voice. He was a little shocked. In the past, he thought that the inscription Tao only existed to support the martial Tao. It seemed like he was gravely mistaken. The Desolate Era was an era that was even older than the Ancient Era, and the Immemorial Era. When the human race first appeared, there was no martial Tao. The human race comprehended a kind of pattern based on the traces of the world and the momentum of the mountains and rivers. This pattern was the earliest inscription Tao. In the end, it developed and became a great Tao. The inscription Tao was one of the oldest great Taos in the world. The inscription Tao could be used to refine weapons, refine pills, inscribe formations, and so on. If one wanted to practice the inscription Tao, first, one had to ignite the spirit fire in the sea of consciousness. The spirit fire was also known as the inscription fire. Only by igniting the spirit fire could one officially step into the inscription Tao. Red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple, silver, and gold. The inscription masters were divided into 9 levels. The color of the spirit fire of each level was different. The spirit fire of the first level was red. The spirit fire of the second level was orange. Based on this logic, the spiritual fire of a 9th grade inscriber was golden in color. Every person, at every level, had 10 spirit lamps in their sea of consciousness. The more spirit lamps that were lit, the stronger the spirit fire. The spirit fire was the foundation of an inscription master. The stronger the spirit fire, the stronger and more precise the inscription master's control. Generally speaking, if one could ignite 3 spirit lamps at each level, one would be able to advance. For example, if a level 1 inscription master ignited 3 red spirit lamps, he would be able to advance and break through. The color of his spirit fire would change to orange and he would ignite an orange spirit lamp. After cultivating and igniting 3 orange spirit lamps, he would be able to continue breaking through. However, this kind of inscription master was an ordinary inscription master. Their main purpose was to support the martial Tao. They were the inscription masters that Lu-Ming often saw. Only by igniting 6 or more spirit lamps at each level could one be considered a pure inscription master and be called a true inscription master. Of course, if one could light up 10 mind lamps at each level, then they would be perfect. They would be the strongest inscriber. However, according to Dandan, it was too difficult to ignite 10 spirit lamps. There were very few of them. Once an inscription master reached level 5, he would be extremely powerful. This jade token only contains some basic knowledge and general knowledge. Look at the rest. There are also some introductions on how to cultivate. There are also some low-level inscriptions that I have collected and controlled. Boy, I will let you have a good look. On his shoulder, Dandan chewed on the elixir as it spoke proudly. Lu-Ming took out another jade tablet and placed it between his eyebrows. This piece of jade contained all the records of first-level inscriptions. There were hundreds of thousands of them. Lu Ming felt dazzled. After half a day, Lu Ming picked up another jade card. This jade card also had a first-level inscription. Then, 6 or 7 jade plates in a row, all of which were level 1 inscriptions. In total, there were more than 3 million types of inscriptions. Lu Ming was shocked. Even if he had never eaten pork, he had never seen a pig run. Although Lu Ming was not an inscriber, he still had some general knowledge. Although the first-level inscriptions were the lowest-level inscriptions, they were also the most numerous. It was already considered good for an inscriber to master a few hundred types. However, there were more than 3 million types here. This was simply terrifying. Then, Lu Ming continued to look. After that, there were level 2 inscriptions and level 3 inscriptions. Dandan did not inscribe any level 4 inscriptions. There were more than 1 million level 2 inscriptions and more than 600,000 level 3 inscriptions. The number was astonishing. How is it? I have lived for countless years and have come into contact with countless inscriptions. Now, do you believe me? Seeing Lu Ming's shocked expression, Dandan was very happy and proud. This time, Lu Ming did not attack Dandan. This guy had mastered so many inscriptions. Maybe what it said was true. The last jade token contained a cultivation technique. It was a cultivation technique for cultivating the spiritual fire. The cultivation method was called the underworld observation. Lu Ming comprehended it for a while and opened his eyes. Boy, how is it? Isn't this mind cultivation method enough to startle the heavens and make ghosts and gods weep? Dandan immediately asked proudly. Lu Ming shook his head and said, I don't feel anything. You don't feel anything? You really don't know what's good for you. Dandan curled its lips and said, well, you haven't started cultivating yet, so you can't experience the wonders of this cultivation method. Let me tell you, if this cultivation method is leaked, even a martial emperor will hunt you down. All the inscribers in the world will hunt you down. Is it that serious? Lu Ming was skeptical. Nonsense, do you think I would lie? Boy, you don't have a fire seed now. Wait until you find one, light the spiritual fire and start cultivating. Then you will know the benefits. Also, let me tell you, if you want to cultivate the path of inscription, you must be careful with your fire seed. It must be strong. If you light the spiritual fire with an ordinary flame, it will have a great impact on your future cultivation. The higher the level of the fire seed, the stronger it will be. You will be able to achieve twice the result with half the effort when cultivating in the future. Moreover, the spiritual fire will also be stronger. It will be of great help to you whether you are refining weapons, refining pills, or inscribing inscriptions. Dandan warned. Lu Ming nodded. Since he was going to cultivate, he had to cultivate in the best direction. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a waste of time? He planned to light the spiritual fire when he found a satisfactory fire seed. For the time being, he would put the matter of inscription aside. After that, he continued to comprehend the thunder conception. 3 days later, Mu Shuyuan found him and told him that Mulins had left for a secret place far away to cultivate. Lu Ming let out a sigh in his heart. He knew that Mulins was most likely still mad at him. Otherwise, why would she not say goodbye to him? He could tell that Mulins was interested in him. How could he not be interested in Mulins? However, there was still someone in his heart that he could not let go of. Mu Shuyuan left after saying a few words. Lu Ming fell into deep thought. Let's not think about it for now. My priority now is to improve my strength. I'll think about it after I defeat Martial Dominator Die. It's time to go back. Lu Ming planned to return to the Lu clan and heal Lu Yuntian's injuries with the life stream. The next day, Lu Ming left Qianxian City and headed east at a rapid speed. Lu Ming's speed was terrifying. He arrived at the Eastern Branch Palace in just 5 days. Lu Ming is back. The moment Lu Ming entered the Eastern Branch Palace, the news of his return spread across the Eastern Branch Palace. The teleportation was extremely fast. The news of Lu Ming defeating the Sacred Star had spread to the Eastern Branch Palace. Countless people rushed out to greet Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming's figure flashed and avoided the crowd, appearing outside the eastern sky courtyard. Chapter 616. Palace Master. Lu Ming called out. It was Mu Zheng, the palace master of the Eastern Palace. It turned out that Mu Zheng had already returned to the Eastern Palace. Lu Ming, I knew you would come here, Mu Zheng said with a smile. Palace Master, please have a seat inside, Lu Ming said with a smile. Mu Zheng nodded and the two walked into the East Sky courtyard. Lu Ming, what are you going to do next? Mu Zheng asked as the two sat down in the courtyard. I plan to go home first. After some time, I will go to other regions to train. 2 years later, I will participate in the Battle of Providence. Lu Ming did not mention Huang. Instead, he told Mu Zheng about his plan. Well, it turns out that you already know about the Battle of Providence. It seems that Yang Guangtu told you about it. I wanted to tell you about it too. It is very important for you. If you can win the Battle of Providence, you may reach Yang Guangtu's height in the future. You may even surpass him and become the new legend of Qianxian domain. Mu Zheng looked at Lu Ming with bright eyes full of expectation. Lu Ming smiled and did not say much. The legend of Qianxian domain? To be honest, he did not care. By the way, Palace Master, I have something to ask you. Lu Ming pondered for a moment and asked. Oh, what is it? Mu Zheng said. Immediately, Lu Ming asked Mu Zheng about Elder Zhuang's family. When they were on their way to Qianxian City and were besieged by the people of the Heavenly Corpse sect, old Zhuang gave him his storage ring before he died. Lu Ming had once said that he would pass his storage ring to his family. Well, I will go back and send someone to investigate. I will give you the news tomorrow. Mu Zheng nodded. After chatting with Lu Ming for a while, he bade farewell and left. The next day, Mu Zheng sent news that Elder Zhuang did have a family living in Myriad Star City. They had a son and a daughter. Lu Ming immediately went to Myriad Star City. In the north of Myriad Star City, there was a small courtyard. The weeping willows outside were fluttering in the wind. It was quite elegant. But at this moment, it was disrupted by a discordant scene. A group of people gathered in front of the courtyard. Bastard, don't even think about taking my sister away. A furious roar was heard. The voice came from an 18 or 19-year-old young man. The young man was tall and sturdy, with a simple and honest appearance. At this moment, his face was filled with anger, and his eyes were fixed on an elegant middle-aged man in front of him. Behind the young man, there was a 16 or 17-year-old girl. She was pretty and sweet, and her figure was curvaceous. She was a rare beauty. At this moment, the young girl was also glaring at the middle-aged man with anger. The young man's name was Zhuang Xiaoshan, and the young girl's name was Zhuang Xiao. Their father was old Zhuang, who had gone to the Qianxian domain with Lu Ming and was ambushed and killed by the Heavenly Corpse sect. As for the scholarly middle-aged man that they were glaring at, his name was Yaro Jiyu, and he was a good friend of their father. He was also an Empyrean Divine Guard of the Empyrean Divine Palace, and his cultivation was on par with old Zhuang's. When old Zhuang was still around, Yaro Jiyu and old Zhuang were very close. He also took good care of Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiao. Who would have thought that after old Zhuang got into trouble, Yaro Jiyu would reveal his beastly side. He actually wants Zhuang Xiaoru to be his concubine. Hehe, little brat, do you think you can stop me? Let me tell you, when your father went to the Qianxian domain, he borrowed a middle LV5 spiritual weapon from me. Although he is dead, the spiritual weapon still needs to be returned. Either you hand over the spiritual weapon, or you let your sister be my concubine and serve me well. Then, I will let the matter of the spiritual weapon go. Yaro Jiyu laughed coldly, and his eyes scanned Zhuang Xiao's body without restraint, and they were filled with passion. He had been eyeing Zhuang Xiao's beauty for a long time, but he could not do it when old Zhuang was around. Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiao's faces turned pale. The two of them were martial grand masters. How could they take out a middle LV5 spiritual weapon? I will return the middle LV5 spiritual weapon to you. I will work hard to cultivate and earn spiritual crystals to buy a spiritual weapon for you. Don't take my sister away, don't take Xiao away, Zhuang Xiaoshan stood in front of Zhuang Xiao and said, "How long do I have to wait for you to return it? 10 years? 20 years? 50 years? Perhaps you will not be able to take out a middle LV5 spiritual weapon in your entire life. All right, move away. I know your father, and I do not want to trouble you." Yarou Jiyu laughed coldly, but Zhuang Xiaoshan stood there stubbornly, staring at Yarou Jiyu angrily. Yarou Jiyu frowned. "Brat, Master Yarou has given you face, but you do not know how to appreciate it. You are looking for death. Piss off." A man with a scar on his face scolded as he walked forward and threw out a slap toward Zhuang Xiaoshan. Zhuang Xiaoshan bit on his teeth, and a long spear appeared in his hand, stabbing toward the man's palm. "Little bastard, you are only a 9th level martial grandmaster, and you dare to fight back. You overestimate yourself." The man sneered viciously as he turned his palm into a claw. Zhen Qi exploded as he grabbed onto Zhuang Xiaoshan's long spear and shook it. This man with a scar on his face was a half-step king warrior, which was thousands of miles more powerful than Zhuang Xiaoshan. With that shake, his Zhen Qi exploded, and the long spear shook. Zhuang Xiaoshan screamed as his body was blown away, crashing into the wall of the yard, shattering it completely. Blood poured out of Zhuang Xiaoshan's mouth. "Brother!" Zhuang Xiao screamed as she rushed in front of Zhuang Xiaoshan with tears in her eyes. "Xiao, go! Go!" Zhuang Xiaoshan yelled. "Go! Where do you want to go? Stop dreaming." The man walked forward with big steps as he laughed coldly. Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiao looked desperate. "Little beauty, it is your fortune that Master Yarou likes you. Go back and serve Master Yarou well. If you serve him well, you will have a good life." The man sneered as he reached out his hand toward Zhuang Xiao. "Bastard, piss off." Zhuang Xiaoshan roared as he struggled to get up. But he was already badly wounded, and the bones in one of his arms were broken as well. He could not use any power at all. Zhuang Xiao roared as she tried her best to resist. She shot out a few rays of light. However, she was only a 5th-layer martial master, far weaker than the scar-faced man. She was easily defeated by the scar-faced man. He grabbed her by the shoulder and poured his Zhen Qi into her. Zhuang Xiaoru's Zhen Qi was sealed and she could not resist at all. "Brother!" Zhuang Xiao screamed as tears flowed down her face. "Xiao!" Zhuang Xiaoshan roared as he struggled to get up. But the man kicked him, and he was sent flying far away as he coughed out blood. Yarou Jiyu waved his fan as he watched with a cold smile. There were some residents around, but no one said a word. Myriad Star City was too big, and no one knew how many people there were. Things like this happened every day. The Emperor Heaven Divine Palace could not manage all of them. Moreover, most of the people in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace were in the outside world. Myriad Star City was just a transit city. Moreover, Yarou Jiyu was a 4th-grade Martial King realm lower-tier Martial King. In Myriad Star City, he was a peak existence. Who would dare to offend him? Hihi, let's go back and serve Master Yarou well. Chapter 617. This chick is really pretty and has a great figure. If Master Yarou is tired of her, he might reward me with her in the future. Hee. The scar-faced man thought happily. The reason why he was so enthusiastic was because of this thought. In the past, Yarou Jiyu would reward his subordinates with women that he was tired of playing with. Behind Yarou Jiyu, the others gritted their teeth and looked at the scar-faced man with envy. They regretted not moving faster and letting that guy beat them to it. "You better let go of your filthy hands immediately." At this moment, an extremely cold voice rang out. The voice was like the winter snow, chilling to the bone. A young man in his 20s slowly walked over. His eyes were filled with killing intent. He was naturally Lu Ming. After he got old Zhuang's address and the situation of his family, he immediately rushed over. However, he encountered this scene. The scar-faced man looked at Lu Ming and sneered, "Kid, are you talking to me? I'll give you 3 breaths of time to let go of your filthy hands. Otherwise, die." 1. Lu Ming said coldly, "Ha ha ha, kid, you're very arrogant." However, arrogance requires skill. The scar-faced man laughed loudly. 2. Lu Ming continued to speak coldly. The scar-faced man's expression changed as he shouted angrily, "Kid, do you know who my master is? My master is a lower-tier king and a level 3 Empyrean divine guard. You better behave yourself." 3. Lu Ming spat out the word 3 coldly and said, "Time's up. You don't have a chance anymore." Whoosh. As soon as he finished his words, Lu Ming's figure disappeared. The next moment, he appeared in front of the burly man with a scar. He grabbed the burly man with a scar by the throat and lifted him up high. The scar-faced burly man's eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. He could not exert any strength in his body. There was fear in his eyes. Just now, he did not even have time to react. Lu Ming's speed was too fast. Naturally, he let go of Zhuang Xiaorou's shoulder. "Brother." Zhuang Xiaorou hurriedly ran to Zhuang Xiaoshan's side to check on his injuries. "Xiaoru, I'm fine." Zhuang Xiaoshan struggled to get up and looked at Lu Ming with a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "Who is this young man? Is he father's friend? Why haven't I heard father mention it before?" Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiaorou both looked at Lu Ming and thought. "Lord Yao, save me, the scarred man hissed. At this moment, Yarou Gu's expression was a little solemn. Just now, he did not see clearly how Lu Ming attacked. "Stop shouting. Today, no one can save you. Go on your way," Lu Ming said coldly. "No, no." The scar-faced man screamed in horror. His hands clawed and his feet kicked, as if he was trying to grasp onto a glimmer of hope. But in Lu Ming's hands, he was like a little chick, unable to resist at all. "Catcher." Lu Ming exerted force and broke the scar-faced man's neck. The scar-faced man's screams stopped abruptly. "Brat, how dare you kill someone in the Myriad Star City? Men, quickly inform the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace's law enforcement team to take down this evil demon," Yarou Jiyu shouted. The reason why he did not say anything earlier was that he was waiting for Lu Ming to kill the scar-faced man. This way, he would have an excuse to call the law enforcement team. In the Myriad Star City, it was fine to injure or even cripple someone. But killing someone was not allowed. One would be punished by the law enforcement team of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. This was the rule. Sometimes, one did not need to use force to deal with a person. One just needed to use one's brain. Yarou Jiyu thought proudly. As for sacrificing the scar-faced man's life, what was that? He was just a dog. "Now, it's your turn." Lu Ming did not seem to know that he had committed a serious crime. He looked at Yarou Jiyu and the rest coldly, emitting a murderous intent. Yarou Gu's expression changed and he shouted angrily, "Brat, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to kill us? You've committed a serious crime. You're a lunatic and evil demon. You scum will be a scourge if you stay in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. All of you must die." Lu Ming walked forward and said coldly, "Brat, do you think you're so great after killing a half-step king? I'll cripple you." A burly man of the martial king realm jumped out and threw a punch at Lu Ming. This punch carried the intent of mountains. It was like a burly man smashing at Lu Ming with shocking power. Bang! The next moment, he was sent flying by Lu Ming's kick. He fell to the ground tens of meters away, no longer breathing. He was dead. "Brat, you've killed another person. You're dead," Yarou Jiyu shouted. "You talk too much," Lu Ming shouted coldly and flicked his finger. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. More than 10 spear lights shot out. Then, more than 10 screams were heard. Yarou Gu's lackeys, whether they were below the martial king realm or above, were all nailed to the ground by the spear lights. Only Yarou Jiyu was left alive. Hiss, gasps could be heard from the surrounding onlookers. In their eyes, this young man was too ruthless. He did not show any mercy and killed more than 10 people in the Myriad Star City. Was he not afraid of the punishment of the law enforcement team? Or had he killed one person and decided to go all out? Yarou Gu's face turned pale and there was a trace of fear in his eyes. Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiaorou's eyes were filled with worry. Lu Ming had killed so many people. The law enforcement team would be here soon. What should they do? "Tell me, how do you want to die?" Lu Ming looked at Yarou Jiyu. You're finished. You've killed so many people. You're finished. Yarrow Jiyu roared, but his body retreated. However, Lu Ming took a step forward and appeared in front of him. Ah, I'll kill you. Yarrow Jiyu was shocked. Then, he roared and a saber appeared in his hand. He slashed at Lu Ming. The attack of a LV4 Martial King was shocking. The onlookers kept retreating, afraid of being affected. However, the next scene left them dumbfounded. Lu Ming did not even take out his spiritual weapon. He slapped Yarrow Jiyu with his bare hand. With a clang, Lu Ming's palm hit Yarrow Gu's saber. Yarrow Gu's middle LV5 saber flew out. However, Lu Ming's palm was not affected at all. He continued to slap Yarrow Jiyu. Slap. A slap landed on Yarrow Gu's face. A crisp and clear sound could be heard. Yarrow Jiyu spun on the spot for dozens of rounds. He then looked at Lu Ming with a dumbstruck expression. He could not fight back against Lu Ming. Who was this young man? He was too terrifying. Yarrow Jiyu was suddenly filled with endless fear. Tell me, how do you want to die? Lu Ming looked at Yarrow Jiyu indifferently. Swoosh. Swoosh. At this moment, there was a sound in the sky. More than 10 figures broke through the void and flew toward them. Powerful auras were emitted from these people. Among them, there were 3 lesser completion kings. The law enforcement team of the Di Tian Divine Guards had arrived. Who dares to kill people in Myriad Star City? An angry roar came from the mouth of a middle-aged man in a red robe who was the leader. Chapter 618. My lords from the Law Enforcement Hall, this kid is a demon. He started a massacre as soon as he came out. Look, how many people has he killed? Now he wants to kill me. Yarrow Jiyu was overjoyed when he saw the people from the Law Enforcement Hall. He shouted crazily as if he had found a life-saving straw. The red-robed man from the Law Enforcement Hall looked at Lu Ming in the direction Yarrow Jiyu was pointing at. His expression changed drastically. He had seen Lu Ming before and he recognized Lu Ming at this moment. Yarrow Jiyu did not notice the change in the red-robed man's expression. He stepped back and looked at Lu Ming coldly. Kid, I don't care who you are. You will be punished for killing people in Myriad Star City. Yarrow Jiyu shouted in his heart. Yarrow Jiyu, how dare you? Kneel down and admit your guilt. The red-robed man shouted. Ha, kid, kneel down and admit your guilt. Yarrow Jiyu laughed heartily. But in the next instant, his smile froze. That was because he realized that the red-cloaked large man had called out his name. He turned his neck stiffly and looked at the red-robed man. He forced a smile and said, My lord, did you call the wrong name? What do you mean by the wrong name? I know you. You are Yarrow Jiyu, right? I am calling you. Kneel down now. The red-robed man shouted and a powerful aura fell on Yarrow Jiyu. Yarrow Jiyu was stunned. Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiero were also stunned. The crowd was also stunned. Wasn't it the young man who killed them? Why did he ask Yarrow Jiyu to kneel down now? My lord, is there a mistake? He is the one who killed them. Yarrow Jiyu pointed at Lu Ming and shouted. How dare you slander Lord Lu Ming? Lu Ming is an important figure. If you did not commit a serious crime, why would Lord Lu Ming kill you? Kneel down now. The red-robed man shouted. What? Lu Ming. Yarrow Gu's face turned ghastly pale all of a sudden. He looked at Lu Ming in disbelief. Then, his eyes were filled with endless fear. There was silence all around. Everyone stared at Lu Ming with their eyes wide open. Could this young man actually be Lu Ming? The news that Lu Ming had defeated the Sacred Star in the Heavenly Arcana branch had spread across the Eastern branch, and even the 10,000 Star City. Who was the Saint Star? He was a peerless genius on the list of top 1,000 talents in the Eastern Wilderness, and his cultivation had reached the Peak King realm. It could be said that in the Tianqian region, apart from those few Sea of Soul realm experts, no one could rival him. Even such a character had been defeated by Lu Ming. How strong could Lu Ming be? Right now, Lu Ming was at the peak of Tianqian region. With his talent, he could even stand on equal footing with Sea of Soul realm experts. What kind of status was this? If others killed people in the Myriad Star City, they would definitely be punished, but Lu Ming would definitely not. Who would dare to punish him? When one's strength reached a certain level, he could override the rules. Brother, his Lu Ming. His Lord Lu Ming. We're saved. After the shock, Zhuang Xiaoro was endlessly excited. The young man who had fought for them was actually Lu Ming. They knew that they were saved. No one could touch them. Yes. Zhuang Xiaoshan said foolishly. He looked at Lu Ming with endless admiration. Lu Ming was only a few years older than him, but his achievements were 108,000 times greater than his. He was his idol. Bang! Yarogu's body shook like a sieve, and then he actually knelt down. When he found out that the young man in front of him was Lu Ming, he knew that he was done for. But he didn't want to give up, so he begged, Lord Lu Ming, spare my life, spare my life. I was just joking with the Zhuang siblings, just joking. There was a cold smile at the corners of Lu Ming's lips. Do you think I'm blind? You probably think that the two of them have no support after their father passed away, right? Unfortunately, you don't know that their father and I are sworn friends. Lu Ming's voice wasn't loud, but it was heard by everyone. Friends of life and death. Lu Ming and old Zhuang were friends of life and death. At this moment, countless people looked at Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiaoro with envy. Although old Zhuang was dead, the Zhuang siblings had Lu Ming as their backing. They could do whatever they wanted in Tianxian region. Yarogu's face was filled with despair. Whoosh! With a flick of his finger, a spear radiance shot out and pierced through Yarogu's dantian, destroying his cyclone. Yarogu's cultivation was crippled. You guys can leave first. I will take care of this, Lu Ming said to the people from the Tribunal Council. Yes. Those people from the Law Enforcement Hall retreated respectfully. As for Yarogu and the others, they were blind enough to offend Lu Ming. Their deaths were in vain. Lu Ming waved his hand and wrapped Yarogu with his ethereal force and brought him in front of the Zhuang siblings. I'll leave him to you. Kill him, Lu Ming said. Kill him. Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiaoro were shocked and hesitated. Martial artists should repay kindness with kindness and revenge with revenge. If I didn't arrive today, have you thought about what would have happened to you? What's there to hesitate about? If you have to hesitate to kill your enemy, what's the point of practicing martial arts? Lu Ming's voice was like thunder in the minds of the Zhuang siblings. Both of their eyes were filled with determination. I'll kill him. Zhuang Xiaoshan struggled to get up. Brother, let me do it. A long sword appeared in Zhuang Xiaoro's hand. No. Spare my life. Please spare my life for the sake of my many years of friendship with your father. Yarogu screamed in fear. Why didn't you spare us on account of your years of friendship with my father? Die. Zhuang Xiaoro's voice was cold. She stabbed her sword into Yarogu's heart. Yarogu's eyes were wide open and filled with unwillingness. In the end, he stopped breathing. He only wanted to bring Zhuang Xiaoro back to play with her. He had done this many times and it had never been a problem. Why did he have to meet Lu Ming this time? Good and evil will be rewarded. This was Yarogu's last thought. Millimeter. Lu Ming nodded. In the world of martial arts, the strong preyed on the weak. If one's heart wasn't hard enough, how could one survive in this world? This was especially true for those who were beautiful but weak. They would often end up as someone's plaything. Lu Ming hoped that after experiencing this incident, they would be able to change. Lord Lu Ming, thank you for saving us this time. Otherwise, Xiaoro would have. Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiaoro came to Lu Ming and thanked Lu Ming. You don't have to thank me. This is what I should do. Sigh, I didn't have the ability to save your father back then. Lu Ming sighed. The Zhuang siblings' eyes were red. Elder Zhuang's storage ring appeared in his hand. Lu Ming passed it to Zhuang Xiaoshan and said, "This is your father's storage ring. Now, I'll give it to you." Holding Elder Zhuang's storage ring, the siblings' eyes became redder and tears rolled down their cheeks. Then, the siblings looked at each other and suddenly knelt down in front of Lu Ming. Lord Lu Ming, please accept us as your disciples. Chapter 619. Lu Ming was a little stunned. He had never expected the Zhuang siblings to want him as their master. Lord Lu Ming, please accept us as your disciples. We will definitely work hard and not embarrass you. Zhuang Xiaoshan kowtowed, and Zhuang Xiao quickly followed. Lu Ming frowned. He sized up the two of them. Although their aptitudes were not top-notch, they were still considered top-notch talents. With some guidance, they might be able to achieve great things. However, Lu Ming had never thought of accepting disciples. He was still young, and the key was that he did not have the time to teach them. Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiao looked at Lu Ming with anticipation. The surrounding onlookers also looked on curiously. They were all guessing if Lu Ming would accept them. After pondering for a while, Lu Ming said, "How about this? I will accept you as my in-name disciples first." Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiao were overjoyed. They immediately kowtowed. "Master, please accept a kowtow from your disciples." Although they were not direct disciples and were only in-name disciples, the two of them were already satisfied. Lu Ming could not help but touch his nose. He had a strange feeling in his heart. He did not expect that he would have disciples so soon. Cough, cough. Lu Ming coughed dryly and said, "All right, get up. However, I have to tell you that I will not have the time to teach you during this period. I will bring you to the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace to cultivate first. When I am free in the future, I will teach you then." "Thank you, Master." Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiao kowtowed again before getting up. "All right, let's go to the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace first." With a wave of his hand, Lu Ming brought the Zhuang siblings and headed towards the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. The surrounding onlookers were all envious. Old Zhuang's son and daughter are so lucky to be able to have Lu Ming as their master. This is really a blessing from 8 lifetimes. That's right. With this, they will have a meteoric rise. Old Zhuang can also smile in the underworld. I'm so envious. Everyone was discussing animatedly, and the news of Lu Ming accepting 2 disciples also spread. Lu Ming brought the Zhuang siblings into the Eastern Sky courtyard. "Xiaoshan, heal yourself first." Lu Ming gave Zhuang Xiaoshan a bottle of healing pills. "Thank you, Master." Zhuang Xiaoshan took the pill and swallowed it. He sat down cross-legged and began to heal himself. Lu Ming flicked his finger and a stream of quintessential essence flew into Zhuang Xiaoshan's body, assisting him in his recovery. Zhuang Xiaoshan's injuries quickly recovered. Then, Lu Ming took out a sound transmission jade talisman and sent out a message. Half an hour later, Zhuang Xiaoshan's injuries had stabilized and he opened his eyes. At this moment, a figure appeared in the air. It was Mu Zheng. "Xiaoshan, Xiao Ru, this is Palace Master Mu Zheng." Lu Ming introduced the two of them. Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiao were shocked. They hurried to Mu Zheng's side and bowed. They had grown up in the Myriad Star City and had heard of Mu Zheng's name for a long time. However, they had never seen him before. They did not expect to see this legendary figure after becoming Lu Ming's disciple. The two of them were excited. "Haha, Lu Ming, I just received news that you have accepted 2 disciples. I was just about to congratulate you when I received your message." Mu Zheng laughed. "Palace Master Mu, you must be joking." "Palace Master, I'm afraid that Lu Ming will not have much time to teach them in the future. I would like to leave the 2 of them in the Eastern Sky courtyard and cultivate in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. What do you think?" Lu Ming said. "Of course, no problem. Don't worry, I will teach them when I have time," Mu Zheng said straightforwardly. "Thank you, Palace Master." Lu Ming cupped his fists. As for the Zhuang siblings, they were naturally overjoyed and thanked him. "Take these 2 tokens. In the future, you can enter and exit the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace as you wish." Mu Zheng gave Zhuang Xiaoshan and Zhuang Xiao a token each. The brother and sister were naturally overjoyed and thanked him again. Mu Zheng smiled and then took his leave. "Xiaoshan, continue to recuperate. When you have recovered, I will impart some martial techniques to you," Lu Ming said. In the blink of an eye, 7 days had passed. Zhuang Xiaoshan's injuries had already recovered. Lu Ming also imparted some cultivation methods and martial techniques to them because of that. Zhuang Xiaoshan's bloodline was a black mountain. Lu Ming found a heaven-class inferior martial technique, Thousand Mountains technique, in his storage ring and gave it to Zhuang Xiaoshan. As for Zhuang Xiaorou's bloodline, it was a small blue sword. It was crystal clear and had a strong water attribute. Lu Ming found a heaven-class inferior martial technique. He also gave the two of them a few martial techniques that were suitable for them. Most importantly, Lu Ming imparted the 10,000 spirit battle body to the two of them. Then, he gave them 3 drops of middle-grade Xiantian origin liquid to refine their bodies. Both of their cultivations were improving every day. This was all he could give them for the time being. In the future, they would have to rely on themselves. As for the true dragon fighting art, they had to start cultivating it before the meridian opening realm. Otherwise, they would not be able to cultivate it. The same went for the 3 ultimate dragon gods. They had to comprehend many different wills. These could not be imparted to them. 7 days later, Lu Ming left the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace under the reluctant gazes of the Zhuang siblings. Now, Lu Ming had to return to the Blazing Sun Empire to treat Lu Yuntian's meridians. Lu Ming flew towards the Blazing Sun Empire at lightning speed. Ever since the Blazing Sun Empire was unified, it had been stable. Everyone knew that Lu Ming was standing behind Hua Kai. No one would have second thoughts. With the help of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect and the Crimson Cloud Valley, the royal family's national power was recovering rapidly and they were thriving day by day. As for the Lu family in the east of the Blazing Sun Empire, they had become an extremely special family. Although they were not strong, everyone had to give them face. During this period, the Lu family had developed rapidly. Countless martial experts had joined the Lu family. The Lu family's strength had increased by dozens of times. Their businesses had spread to hundreds of cities. However, everyone in the Lu family would never forget that Lu Ming was the one who had brought all of this to them. Without Lu Ming, everything that they had would have vanished in an instant. In the courtyard of the Lu family head residence, Lu Yuntian and Li Ping were sitting at a stone table. They were drinking tea and chatting. Although Lu Yuntian was the Lu family head, he would not show up for small matters. He would leave everything to his subordinates to handle. He was happy to be free. I wonder how Ming-Er is doing now. Li Ping suddenly sighed. Why? I miss Ming-Er, Lu Yuntian said. Don't you miss him? Li Ping rolled her eyes at Lu Yuntian. What a woman. Ming-Er is now at the golden age of cultivation. Of course he needs to travel outside. We should take care of ourselves at home so that Ming-Er won't worry, Lu Yuntian said. Although he said that, the trace of longing in his eyes could not be dispelled. You're so stubborn. Li Ping glared at Lu Yuntian. Father, mother. At this moment, a figure called out. Lu Ming's figure appeared in the courtyard. Lu Yuntian and Li Ping trembled. They looked at Lu Ming and were overjoyed. Ming-Er, you're back. Father, mother, Ming-Er is back to see you. Chapter 620. It's good that you're back. Come, let me take a good look at you. Li Ping happily pulled Lu Ming to sit down and look at him. Lu Yuntian's face was also full of smiles. Father, mother, Ming-Er is fine. Don't worry. Lu Ming smiled and sat down with Li Ping and the other two. Father, Ming-Er came back mainly to heal your meridians. Lu Ming said. What? Heal my meridians? Lu Yuntian's hand that was holding the teacup trembled. Obviously, Lu Yuntian was shocked. Ming-Er, is what you said true? Can you really heal your father's meridians? Li Ping looked at Lu Ming excitedly. That's right. Father, mother, Ming-Er obtained a bottle of the legendary life water. It can definitely heal father's injuries. Lu Ming moved his hand and the life water appeared in Lu Ming's hand. Life water, life water. I didn't expect such a treasure to exist in this world. Lu Yuntian said excitedly. Father, drink it. I'll help you refine it. Lu Ming gave the life water to Lu Yuntian. All right. Lu Yuntian received it and took a deep breath. He drank it in one gulp and sat down cross-legged. Lu Ming placed his palm on Lu Yuntian's back. True yuan continuously flowed into Lu Yuntian's body to help him refine the life water. The life water turned into vigorous vitality energy and nourished Lu Yuntian's meridians. Wherever this energy passed, Lu Yuntian's broken and withered meridians were reconnected. Moreover, they became more vigorous and resilient. 2 hours later, the life water was completely refined. Lu Yuntian's meridians were healed and were several times stronger than before. His body was filled with vitality and was full of vitality. It's done. It's really done. Lu Yuntian circulated his cultivation technique and looked at the fiery red true qi in his palm. He was so excited that his body trembled and tears welled up in his eyes. Lu Yuntian's cultivation had already reached the martial grandmaster realm. With the help of Lu Ming, he immediately recovered a bit of his cultivation. How many years had it been? He had thought that he would never be able to practice martial arts again, and that he would never be able to recover his true qi again. But now, he had it back. No one could understand Lu Yuntian's current mood. Ming thank you. Lu Yuntian took a deep breath and looked at Lu Ming. Father, you and I are father and son. There's no need to thank me. This is what I should do. Lu Ming smiled. He was very happy to see Lu Yuntian recover. That's great, that's great. At the side, Li Ping was also extremely excited. No one in the world knew Lu Yuntian better than her. Lu Yuntian had always had a heart for martial arts. He was a natural martial artist, so not being able to cultivate was a huge blow to him. Now, everything was fine. Father, take these cultivation techniques, martial arts techniques, and elixirs. Lu Ming took out the cultivation techniques, martial arts techniques, elixirs, and weapons that he had prepared for Lu Yuntian. These were all carefully selected by Lu Ming as they were the most suitable for Lu Yuntian. There were all kinds of cultivation techniques, enough for Lu Yuntian to use until he reached the martial king realm. Ming do you have enough for yourself? Lu Yuntian asked. He was afraid that Lu Ming had given him so many resources that he would not be able to use them. In comparison, Lu Ming was more important. He was already very happy to be able to cultivate. The resources should be left for Lu Ming. After all, Lu Ming was at the golden age of cultivation. Father, don't worry. Ming has a lot of resources. Lu Ming smiled. Lu Yuntian took it. Father, this is a bottle of middle-grade Xiantian origin liquid. Take it and use it with Mother. Not only will it help you cultivate your flesh, it will also improve Mother's body. Lu Ming took out the bottle of middle-grade Xiantian origin liquid and handed it to Lu Yuntian. Middle-grade Xiantian origin liquid. Lu Yuntian's heart skipped a beat. He clearly knew that the price of a middle-grade Xiantian origin liquid was an astronomical figure that he could not even imagine. Taking a deep breath, Lu Yuntian looked at Lu Ming with a serious expression and asked, Ming what's your cultivation now? Lu Ming did not hide anything and said, Peak 9th layer Martial King Realm, but it'll take me some time to reach the Peak Martial King Realm. Peak 9th layer Martial King Realm. Lu Yuntian's heart skipped a beat, before it was filled with joy. Great, great, I'll take this bottle of Xiantian origin liquid. Lu Yuntian burst out laughing. Peak 9th layer Martial King Realm was a realm that he did not even dare to imagine. How could he not be happy that Lu Ming had reached it at such a young age? This was his, Lu Yuntian's, son. The three of them chatted for a while before Lu Yuntian rushed into his room and started cultivating. Lu Ming smiled. With Lu Yuntian's talent, he believed that it would not take long for him to recover his peak cultivation. News of Lu Ming's return did not spread. In the following days, Lu Ming would chat with Lu Yuntian and Li Ping. He would focus on comprehending the lightning intent. Half a month later, Lu Yuntian's cultivation had recovered to the peak 9th layer Martial Master realm. Soon, he would return to the Martial Grand Master realm. At this time, Lu Ming's lightning intent broke through again, reaching the peak of the first level. Now, it's time to raise my windfire intent to the peak of the first level. Lu Ming entered the Temple of Paragon, took out a middle-grade profound crystal, and began to break through. 7 days later, Lu Ming used 3 pieces of each of the 2 types of middle-grade profound crystals to break through to the perfected level 1 of the wind and fire concepts. With all three intents at the peak of the first level, Lu Ming's cultivation should be able to reach the peak of the King realm. However, he did not have enough resources. Lu Ming only had 6 million top-grade spiritual crystals. It was not enough for him to reach the peak of the King realm. He had no choice but to put it aside for now and focus on cultivating the 3 ultimate skills of the Dragon God. With all 3 intents at the peak of the first level, he could cultivate the 3 ultimate skills of the Dragon God to the 6th level. 3 days later, Lu Ming headed for the imperial capital. He started to think about what was at the bottom of the Earth Origin Cave. When Lu Ming was in the first layer of the martial King realm, he did not manage to dig it out. Now, he wanted to try again. However, before going to the Earth Origin Cave, he first found Hua Kai to catch up with him. Then, he headed to the Earth Origin Cave. No one noticed Lu Ming. Silently, Lu Ming went to the lowest level of the Earth Origin Cave. It was the 14th level, the level that Lu Ming had dug out. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, this place did not affect Lu Ming at all. Lu Ming continued to dig. The 15th level, the 16th level, the 17th level. When Lu Ming dug out the 17th level and wanted to continue digging, he found that it was empty. Lu Ming dug out a hole and rushed down. He found that there was a huge underground cave below. The fire spiritual chi here was unimaginably violent. In the air of the underground cave, a ball of fire burned fiercely like the sun. Endless heat spread out from the ball of fire. Nest, this is the earth core flowing flame. Kid, you're rich. Chapter 621. Dandan shouted excitedly. Geocentric flowing flame? Lu Ming was a little puzzled. Boy, you're really lucky. The geocentric flowing flame is a kind of top-grade flame between heaven and earth. If you use it to ignite the spirit fire, it'll be perfect. Boy, I'm starting to envy your luck. Dandan shouted. Lu Ming's eyes also lit up. If I absorb this flame, there won't be any fire attribute spirit chi here. Won't this cultivation holy land be wasted? Lu Ming said. What waste? Let me tell you, if you absorb the geocentric flowing flame, the value of this place will really explode. Haven't you noticed that this place is actually a spiritual eye? It is constantly emitting spirit chi, but it has always been absorbed by the flowing geocentric flame, or even blocked. Now that you have absorbed the flowing geocentric flame, the spirit chi here will spread out, turning this place into a true holy land for cultivation. Dandan explained. I see. Lu Ming observed carefully. True enough, he discovered that spirit energy was constantly emanating from below. However, most of it was absorbed by the geocentric flowing flame. It was even burned by the scorching flames. The remaining spirit energy spread out along with the scorching flame's aura, forming fire spirit energy. Lu Ming finally knew how the Earth Yuan cave was formed. Boy, you can't miss this opportunity. I'll teach you how to ignite the spirit fire. First, visualize 10 spirit lamps in your sea of consciousness. Dandan began to teach. Lu Ming began to visualize the spirit lamps in his sea of consciousness according to Dandan's method. The sea of consciousness and Dantian, in a sense, were infinitely big, like 2 universes. Although the Thunder Cauldron occupied a part of it, Lu Ming could visualize the spirit lamps in another part of the sea of consciousness. Slowly, 10 spirit lamps seemed to appear in Lu Ming's sea of consciousness, but they were all extinguished and not lit. Now, grab the geocentric flowing flame and use the underworld visualization to absorb it into your sea of consciousness. Dandan shouted. Lu Ming waved both of his palms, forming 2 giant palms that grabbed the flowing geocentric flames. Boom! The flowing geocentric flame shook violently, as if it had a mind of its own and wanted to escape. The 3 states of wind, fire, and thunder erupted. Together with his quintessence, he firmly grasped the flowing flame in the geocentric flame and brought it before Lu Ming. Lu Ming felt as if his true essence was about to ignite. The temperature of the flowing geocentric flame was too high. If it weren't for the fact that Lu Ming's cultivation had reached the peak of the 9th layer martial emperor realm, and that his 3 intents had all reached the first stage perfection stage, he would not be able to deal with the earth core flowing flame. Even an ordinary great achievement king would be burned to death if they came. Refine. Lu Ming muttered. He used his true essence and concepts to temper away the violent elements of the flowing earth core flame, making it more docile. 2 hours later, Lu Ming started to use the dark god observation method to absorb the flowing flame from the earth's core and ignite his spiritual fire. Whoosh whoosh, wisps of flowing flame from the earth's core flew into Lu Ming's forehead and appeared in Lu Ming's mind. Boom. Instantly, Lu Ming felt as if he was in magma. The terrifying temperature and flames were burning his body, including his soul. Hot, too hot. Kid, you have to hold on. The higher the quality of the flame, the greater the danger of igniting your spiritual fire. However, the benefits are also unimaginable. Danden's voice sounded. Lu Ming gritted his teeth and tried his best to control the flowing flame from the earth's core to ignite his spiritual fire. Give me some. Lu Ming roared. He controlled the flowing flame from the earth's core and ignited it towards a lamp. Whoosh, all the flowing flame from the earth's core rushed towards the first lamp. The first lamp emitted a fiery red light. Then, a wisp of flame appeared on the wick of the lamp. At first, the flame was very small, but slowly, the flame on the wick grew bigger and bigger. Finally, it started to burn fiercely. Success! The spiritual fire was successfully ignited. However, this was just the beginning. It was far from over. When the flame of the first lamp reached its peak, a wisp of flame also appeared on the wick of the second lamp. The flame grew bigger and bigger. Kid, the flowing flame from the earth's core is too strong. This is an opportunity to ignite more lamps. Take advantage of it. Danden reminded. Lu Ming operated the underworld god observation method with all his might. When the flame of the second lamp reached its peak, a scarlet flame also appeared on the wick of the third lamp. Then, the fourth lamp, the fifth lamp, the sixth lamp, igniting 6 lamps had already reached the requirement of a true inscription master. However, it was still far from the limit. The 7th lamp, the 8th lamp, the 9th lamp, the 10th lamp. The 10 spirit lamps were all lit up. Ha! Perfect, perfect. The first stage is perfect. It really is the flowing flame from the earth's core. Danden laughed. The 10 spirit lamps burned with scarlet spirit fire. When the flames of the 10 spirit lamps reached their peak, the spirit fire of the 10 spirit lamps suddenly gathered on the first spirit lamp, while the other 9 spirit lamps were extinguished. The flame of the first lamp started to change. It turned into an orange flame. Orange. This meant that Lu Ming had reached the second stage. The spiritual fire of a level 2 inscription master was orange. This was not the end. When the orange flame of the first lamp reached its peak, the second lamp was also successfully ignited. Just like before, the third lamp, the fourth lamp, finally, the 10th lamp. The second stage also had 10 lamps ignited. Perfect. When the orange flame of the 10 lamps reached its peak, it gathered on the first lamp again. The first lamp's flame turned yellow again. Yellow flame. Level 3 inscription master. Just like before, after the first lamp was ignited, the second lamp, the third lamp, the fourth lamp. This time, he ignited 6 lamps in one go. At this moment, he finally stopped and did not ignite the 7th lamp. The energy of the flowing flame from the Earth's core has finally been used up. Ha, amazing. The first 2 stages were perfect. The third stage, you ignited 6 lamps. This is very rare. Danden laughed and danced. Lu Ming's face also revealed a happy expression. Within the same level, the more lamps one ignited, the more vigorous the spiritual fire would be. This also meant that one's spiritual power would be stronger. Lu Ming was now a level 3 inscription master. Of course, it was only his spiritual fire that had reached level 3. If he wanted to become a level 3 inscription master, he still needed to practice inscription. Only by mastering inscription could he be considered a true inscription master. Brat, let me tell you, the strength of your spiritual flame is so strong that I'm afraid even those half-baked level 5 inscription masters here can't compare to you. Hehe, the first 2 stages are perfect. There aren't many people who can achieve perfection. However, It will be difficult for you to achieve perfection in the later stages. But I still hope that you can do your best and achieve perfection in every stage, Dandan said. Lu Ming nodded. If he wanted to cultivate, of course he had to aim for the best. He would work hard. Chapter 622. Let's try engraving inscriptions. Lu Ming sat cross-legged in the air and closed his eyes. Various methods of engraving level 1 inscriptions began to appear in his mind. In his mind, there were more than 3 million methods of engraving level 1 inscriptions that Dandan had given him. Each method was different. The inscriptions were like a trace of the natural world, mysterious beyond compare. After a while, Lu Ming opened his eyes. The spiritual fire revolved between his fingers and he began to engrave in the air. As his fingertips moved, a mysterious pattern was formed in the air. On top of it, a blazing aura filled the air. This was a level 1 inscription, the heat inscription. Whoosh! The heat inscription flew out and was imprinted on the wall. Then, Lu Ming waved his finger and another inscription appeared in the air. This time, it was filled with a cold aura. This was a level 1 inscription, the cold inscription. With a shake of his finger, the cold inscription also flew out and was imprinted on the wall. Interesting. Lu Ming's eyes sparkled. The spiritual fire revolved and his finger kept moving in the air. Inscriptions flew out one after another, flickering with various radiances. Nestle, success, 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 all of them. Crazy. Dandan, who was on Lin Fan's shoulder, widened its tortoiseshell eyes. Lu Ming had lit 10 spirit lamps in the first stage. Engraving level 1 inscriptions should be easy. Dandan knew this. But now, Lu Ming was engraving inscriptions for the first time. Not only was his inscription speed terrifying, but he also had a 100% success rate. This was too crazy. As far as Dandan knew, even 10 spirit lamps shouldn't be this crazy. Could this guy be an inscription genius? Dandan thought. Ha ha ha, awesome, awesome. Lu Ming felt his eyes glowing. He had a feeling that he was completely in control. It was incomparably comfortable. As he waved his finger, the speed of engraving became faster and faster. In the end, only a phantom could be seen waving and moving in the air. Flashing inscriptions flew out one after another. After half an hour, Lu Ming finally stopped. Brat, you seem to be very proud. Let me tell you, what are you proud of now? You're still far from it. Looking at Lu Ming's smug and carefree expression, Dandan was displeased and deliberately attacked him. Oh! Lu Ming was stunned. Let me tell you, the inscription you just inscribed is only a single level 1 inscription. If you want to refine weapons, refine pills, or even inscribe inscriptions, you need to combine a variety of inscriptions together. You need to combine countless level 1 inscriptions, or even low-level and high-level inscriptions. It's much more complicated than inscribing a single inscription. Boy, you still have a lot to learn. Also, do you think that your inscription speed is very fast? Let me tell you, there are many true inscription masters who can inscribe inscriptions in an instant. They can inscribe inscriptions with just a wave of their hand. They are many times faster than you. Dandan spared no effort in attacking Lu Ming. Yes, I'm still far from it. If you have time, you need to practice more. Lu Ming nodded. It was rare for him to feel that Dandan had said something human, no, something tortoise. Dandan nodded with its hands behind its back, looking like a promising child. However, in its heart, it was still shocked by Lu Ming's actions. What it was talking about were things that other people had slowly mastered after countless efforts. Who could achieve it in one go? Lu Ming's speed was already extremely amazing. Boy, try the underworld god visualization again and you'll know how wonderful it is, Dandan said. Okay. Lu Ming also couldn't wait to try it. Immediately, he closed his eyes and operated the underworld god visualization. All of a sudden, Lu Ming felt as though he was on a spiritual journey, drifting in the endless universe. Suddenly, a big river appeared in front of Lu Ming. He didn't know how wide and long this big river was. It was incomparably vast and filled with an ancient aura. Lu Ming felt that this big river had a strong attraction to him, attracting him to get closer. Lu Ming slowly flew over and flew into the big river. At this moment, Lu Ming found that he had turned into a ball of flame, a ball of flowing earth core flame. The big river was filled with endless spirit fire, which was the inscription flame. The spirit fire in this big river was endless. It had turned into the color of chaos and was endless. The flowing earth core flame that Lu Ming had turned into floated in the river. Around him, wisps of spirit fire gathered towards the flowing earth core flame. At this moment, Lu Ming had a clear feeling that his spirit fire was slowly growing stronger. This is amazing. Lu Ming sighed. After a while, with a thought, the big river disappeared, and in front of him was the underground cave again. Amazing, I feel that the yellow spirit fire of the sixth spirit lamp has become stronger, Lu Ming said in a low voice. Brat, did you see a huge river? Dandan asked. Yes, what is that? Lu Ming asked curiously. He realized that he knew too little. He did not understand this world at all. Between heaven and earth, there are many laws that represent the heavenly Tao. The river you see is the law of inscription, a supreme law. The law of inscription contains endless power of inscription. If you use the underworld God observation method, you can successfully communicate with the law of inscription and obtain the power of inscription to strengthen your spiritual fire. Moreover, your flame seed is the earth core flowing flame. Coupled with the nether God observation method, I estimate that I've absorbed quite a bit of inscription energy. In the future, you can rely on this to cultivate and improve your spirit flame, Dandan explained. Oh. I seem to have heard that ordinary inscription masters don't improve their spirit fire like this. Lu Ming said. Nonsense, of course not. Dandan curled his lips and said, ordinary inscription masters have two ways to improve their spirit fire. One way is to constantly practice and use the flame of spirit through refining, alchemy, engraving inscription formations, and so on. This is equivalent to training the flame of spirit. The more you train, the flame of spirit will naturally improve. However, this method of improvement is extremely slow. Most of the inscriptionists you see use this method to improve. There's another way. It's also through weapon forging, alchemy, and so on. That's to forge weapons and alchemy beyond one's level. For example, when a level 1 inscription master forges a level 2 spirit weapon, the inscription law will descend upon him and raise his spirit flame. Of course, when forging a high-quality spirit weapon or alchemy of the same level, the inscription law will also descend upon him. It can be done like this. Lu Ming was a little stunned. Of course, there is another way, and that is the spirit fire cultivation method. You can directly communicate with the inscription force and absorb the inscription force. The speed will be countless times faster. However, the spirit fire cultivation method is too rare. Any low-level spirit fire cultivation method that comes out will cause a mad scramble. A low-level spirit fire cultivation method can create a powerful inscription force. And the underworld God observation method is the top spirit fire cultivation method. Now, you know how precious it is, Dandan said proudly. Chapter 623. Wait a minute, spiritual weapons and elixirs, aren't upper grade the strongest? Why are there supreme grade and peerless grade? Lu Ming suddenly thought of this question. Bullshit, those inscription masters are useless and can only refine upper grade. That's why I said your spear is a waste. If you let that old man refine it, he can only refine upper grade level 6. If a level 6 true inscription master refined it, he can at least refine supreme grade. Dandan said disdainfully. I see. Lu Ming nodded. Suddenly, his expression changed and he said, someone is coming down, we should leave. Lu Ming felt that someone was coming down from above. Well, after Lu Ming absorbed the earth core flowing flame, the heat disappeared. The heaven and earth spiritual chi in the earth core cave was 10 times denser than before. It naturally attracted the curiosity of others and it was normal for them to come down to investigate. Lu Ming did not want to cause a commotion, so he did not plan to show himself. His body flashed and he turned into a ray of light and rushed up. He brushed past a few youths, but those youths didn't notice him at all. Soon, Lu Ming came out of the Earth Core Cave and came to the Imperial Palace to find Hua Kai. He told Hua Kai about the Earth Core Cave. Hua Kai was stunned when he heard this, then he was overjoyed. There was a spiritual eye under the Earth Core Cave. With this as the foundation, the Burning Sun Empire would definitely have more and more experts in the future. The empire would also become stronger and stronger. Immediately, Hua Kai sent out experts to seal the Earth Core Cave, and then he thought about how to use it. Lu Ming and Hua Kai chatted for a while and left some elixirs and manuals for him. Then he left the imperial capital and returned to the Lu family. After that, Lu Ming's schedule was full every day. Apart from comprehending the thunder essence and cultivating the 3 unique skills of the dragon god, he would practice inscriptions, cultivate the underworld god visualization, and raise the spiritual fire. Time passed quickly and 2 months passed. It had been almost 3 months since the battle with the sacred star. In these 2 months, Lu Ming had made great progress in all aspects. The 3 ultimate skills of the dragon god had already reached perfection and reached the 6th level. As for the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps, he had reached the 4th step in one go. Its power was equivalent to the 6th level of a heaven-class upper-class martial skill, which was equivalent to the 6th level of the 3 skills of the dragon god. Adding on the fact that his 3 concepts of heaven and earth were all at the 1st level of perfection, Lu Ming's current battle strength was several times stronger than when he had fought against the sacred star. Now, even without the help of Dandan's inscription array, Lu Ming could easily defeat Sacred Star. Of course, the Sacred Star would also improve and wouldn't remain stagnant. This was a different matter altogether. As for the concept of thunder, it had also improved greatly and was infinitely close to the 2nd level. However, it was extremely difficult to break through to level 2. It was not something that could be done in a short period of time. Between a 1st level concept and a 2nd level concept, there was a massive chasm that was difficult to cross. The Tao of Inscription improved the fastest. After 2 months of cultivation, Lu Ming had successfully ignited another spirit lamp. 7 yellow flames burned fiercely, and he was about to ignite the 8th. However, the further one went, the harder it was to ignite a spirit lamp. The first few spirit lamps were the easiest to ignite. As for Lu Ming's inscription speed, it had already reached a terrifying level. On a mountain peak hundreds of miles away from Windy Fire City, Lu Ming had been cultivating the path of inscription on this mountain peak. Lu Ming's figure flickered as he stepped on the mountain peak. With every step he took, an inscription would appear, emitting a resplendent light. Freak. In just 2 short months, he has actually cultivated inscription to this level. This freak. On a bluestone nearby, Dandan was lazily basking in the sun, chewing on a spirit herb. As he chewed, he wailed in his heart. In 2 months, Lu Ming had finally reached the level where he could inscribe inscriptions with just a wave of his hand. If it were anyone else, it would be impossible for them to do this without 10 or 20 years of hard work. No wonder Dandan was wailing in grief. Brat, to cultivate to this level, you can barely be considered qualified. Once you become a 5th level inscription master, your mental strength will be able to communicate with the power of heaven and earth. At that time, you will be able to erupt with a terrifying attack. Dandan would not admit that Lu Ming was a freak, but he still wanted to attack him. Otherwise, how could he maintain his lofty status? Although, in Lu Ming's heart, he had never been lofty. Let's go back. Lu Ming walked over and pinched Dandan's head, tossing it over his shoulder. Brat, if you dare pinch my head again, I won't let you off. I won't let you off. Dandan hysterically screamed. Lu Ming curled his lips and flew into the air, preparing to return to the Lu family. At this moment, a strong sense of danger emanated from his heart, causing his skin to tighten. Kai, in the sky, countless wind blades sliced through the air and shot towards him, filled with an incomparably sharp intent. Boom! Without any hesitation, Lin Fan's 3 wills exploded, his true yuan rumbled, and hundreds of spear lights shot out, clashing with the wind blades. Boom! Boom! Explosions sounded out in the sky, and energy shot out in all directions, causing the forest to become a mess. Kai. At this moment, a huge wind blade, black in color, slashed down from the sky. Wherever the wind blade passed, the air would tremble violently and split apart like ripples of water. True Dragon Strike. Lu Ming stabbed out with his spear, and a tricolor True Dragon flew out, clashing with the huge wind blade. The air shook, and the wind blade and tricolor True Dragon both disappeared. So strong. Lu Ming's eyes sharpened. Although Lu Ming hadn't broken through to the Peak King realm yet, his battle strength was something that few kings could match. But now, the person above him had battle strength that wasn't any weaker than his. Could it be a Sea of Soul Realm expert? No, he didn't feel the vast aura of a Sea of Soul Realm expert, so it shouldn't be one. Who is it? Come out, you sneaky bastard. Lu Ming transformed into a beam of spear gleam and charged upward. He thrust his spear and a bright beam of spear gleam soared into the sky. Wang. At this moment, the air shook, and Lu Ming felt a terrifying power acting on his body. It was as if his weight had suddenly increased by dozens or even hundreds of times. However, it was different from gravity. Lu Ming felt a huge pressure on his body. It was as if he had fallen into a quagmire. Kai kai, around him, the sound of air being torn apart could be heard. Countless wind blades tore through the air and sliced towards him. No, this wasn't a wind blade. Although it was similar, it was more mysterious and dangerous. Interesting. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile, and his aura became even stronger. Just now, Lu Ming hadn't used his full strength at all. His true yuan circulated rapidly, and 3 intents surrounded his body. 9 dragons trampling the sky. Lu Ming flipped over, and with his head down and feet up, he took 4 steps and rushed up. Boom. Boom. Heaven and earth went berserk, and the space shook. That terrifying pressure was pierced through by Lu Ming. Lu Ming rushed up and pointed with his spear. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,